My name is William Yank. If you haven't been to my channel, this is my channel. I used to post weekly videos on Wednesday called Wednesdays with Will, hence the WWW. And yeah, this is my cancer story. Cancer vlog, cancer explanation, whatever. I've had a lot of people ask how I got sick, so let's take a deep dive. Here we go. One week this summer, I was in DC for an internship. And it was one that was funded by my college, and honestly it was a crazy time. I was really excited for it, and I was having a blast down in DC. Not only like learning about myself and living on my own, but you know, really just how to survive and do things as an adult, really. And one weekend I had my 21st birthday. It was on June 12th, and I went out, had some fun. Actually didn't celebrate it though. No friends were around. I was by myself, and I ended up being at home by like 10 because I had work the next day, and so didn't really get a chance to celebrate. Well, that next week I got a really bad sore throat, and I woke up one morning and I was like, geez, like this is awful, like this hurts. And it was like one of those sore throats that you get kind of when you have strep, then it's just like really scratchy, it hurts to swallow. But this one was like painful, like it hurt a lot. And I was like, okay, like I'm sure I'm fine. I gave it a day, and then I was like, I need to see an urgent care. So I hopped over to an urgent care one day and pretty much walked in, got signed up, and they took me back, swabbed my throat, and found out that I had mono. And I was like, okay, so mono, let's see, how do we fight that? Well, I can pretty much spend a week in bed and fight it off, you know? Like, there's no real way. There's what they gave me was literally a mouthwash that I could use to help the sore throat, but that's all they could do for me. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just go home, rest it off. And my boss was super understanding. He's really awesome. And then, yeah, so I was laying in bed for the next 4 days, just hanging out. I was sleeping all day, trying to rest up, you know, get ready to be back at it. I was even eating well, drinking well. I was taking care of myself. I was really fine. And then one evening, I woke up. It's probably about like the 4th day I was sick, 3rd or 4th. Remember, this is just how I remember everything. And I woke up, and I remember like walking out to the fridge, I think, in the apartment that I shared. And my roommate came out, and he was still up. He was talking to me and stuff, and apparently I was like delirious, and I was, you know, talking a bunch of rambling and unable to like open the fridge door, get a bottle of water. I couldn't even stand up straight. Like, I was hobbling around. And he told me he was going to take me to the emergency room because if I remember correctly, I told him we didn't need to go, and I was like, no, like I think I'm fine, because I didn't want to, you know, make him stay up any later than he had to. But he was like, no, we're gonna go. And so I got dressed, got ready, and we went out to his car. And then from when we got in the car, I just remember not even being able to lift up my head, like keep my head up. I remember like dozing off and things like that. It was a struggle. And we get to the ER, and then this is when things got foggy. I got to the ER, I remember signing paperwork, and I remember getting in the hospital bed, but pretty much after that, I think I fell asleep. And then after that, they took blood tests on me. The doctor pretty much rushed in, said, hey, Will, you have leukemia. And then I blacked out for like a week. And it's not like blacked out as in the sense of, you know, eyes are closed, I'm incoherent, I'm not talking, I'm in a coma. It's not like that at all. It was really just literally, my memory's blacked out from that entire time. Like, I remember being told I had leukemia, kind of being like, oh, dude, whoa, like, you're kidding, there's no way. Like, I was what I thought to be one of the healthiest people that I knew. I always took care of myself. I ate very well. I was really strong, always worked out, always exercised. Never put myself into harm's way if I could avoid it, and I really had no idea how I could be sick. Well, I wasn't only sick with leukemia, and that's the problem. I was also in septic shock, and pretty much what that means is I had a bunch of different, literally viruses and illnesses inside my body attacking it from the inside out. And if you've ever felt like betrayed before, sit there and think about that for a while, like your own body something that what I had done is I had taken care of it. I had really nurtured my body, and it decided to, I guess how I feel, betray me and literally try to kill itself from the inside out. And that was hard for me to swallow. And like I said, I blacked out for that week. I don't remember anything. I'm just now starting to have recall memories as I go through it with my therapist. But other than that, I was a sitting duck. And what they did is I was at Sibley Hospital in Washington, D.C. They got me onto an ambulance. And my boss and the people taking care of me notified my parents. And they pretty much ambulanced me to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, which is obviously one of the best hospitals in the country. I couldn't be more thankful for where I was placed, especially with my illness. It's one of the best hospitals in the country for it. So I was thankful for that. I've been very grateful for the people that I met there and everything. But I get to the hospital, and as things get quicker and I don't remember anything, right? What I was told after was I was about 2 hours away from dying. The doctors were hustling and bustling trying to figure out how to save me. When you have all these infections, you need a lot of antibiotics, a lot of liquid in my body. I needed to be hydrated, and the antibiotics weren't helping with that, of course. And I went from my 185 pounds to 210 pounds. That was all liquid and what turned into edema. It was just like an oversaturation of liquid in my body. And you can kind of see it in these pictures that I show up. And it was just like, literally my body was swollen like a pumpkin. And from that week, after I slowly lost my edema over the month that I was at Johns Hopkins, I went from the 185 to the 210 pounds all the way down to 150 pounds, which is about well, if you're doing the math, a 60-pound loss. So you could say my body was going through some crap there. And pretty much I was blacked out for that week. I woke up in the sense that I was cognitive again. I was remembering what was happening. I could tell what was going on. I was able to, I feel like, interact and have serious conversations with my family and friends. And yeah, you know, I can't be more thankful for the Johns Hopkins team and the PICU where I was for that week, saving my life. And like I was like literally to the point, like I've been having these recall memories, and I just remember like kind of seeing the white light, you know, like I had just cracked a few cold ones with death. Like he was just hanging out on a couch with me, and he was like, yo, this is your time to go. And me kind of being like, hey, not yet, man. Like I still have some stuff I want to do. Like we're not just gonna end this here. And so yeah, it was crazy. My body went through an absolute crapshoot. And as you can see in some of these pictures, you're gonna see red splotches on my body, and that was literally where the infections inside my body were eating my skin. And all these red spots are now wounds. I still have a wound on my arm here. It's this whole forearm area, and then I have one on my right shoulder. You're gonna kind of see the red splotches, and I'll spare you the gory details of, you know, the dead skin sloughing off of it and all the things like that. Pretty much we've just had to maintain them, and literally in this forearm I've watched a tendon rebuild. I've watched blood vessels form. It's just been a crazy thing. It's crazy what the human body can do. And I can't move this hand back. It's locked here because everything's rebuilding here. So I pretty much have a locked left hand. Yeah, and so in that time that I was in the hospital, we're looking at about a 30-day period. I lost all the muscle mass that I worked for. And if you can kind of, to put it into perspective, imagine working something that's at the top of your priority list. The gym was at the top of my priority list for literally since my senior year of high school. I'm now a senior in college. And everything that I had worked for, literally my body deteriorated, and the infections ate the muscles depleted. I was deconditioned completely, and my body was so torn apart that I actually had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to write again. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to pick up my fork. I couldn't do that. I couldn't I couldn't even walk. I could barely stand. I couldn't use the bathroom by myself. I had nurses washing me. I had to get help to the bathroom. When you think about something and you feel like you've had your dignity taken away, you feel like you've had your privacy stripped from you. Like, that's what it was, you know? Like, that's what it was. There was no privacy anymore. All I had, the only option I had was submit, or, you know, like, submit to the nurses, of course, not to the disease, but submit, accept that these people are helping you, and that's the only way you're gonna be able to get out of here. I had really big problems with like blood pressure. I passed out like regularly almost when I would try to stand. Because I'm so tall, being 6'7", your body and your heart has a hard time pumping the blood down to your feet and getting it back up to your chest. So I couldn't even do that. You know, I've posted videos on my social media, but here's videos of me trying to walk, me trying to eat, my sister helping me eat. I was at a loss, you know, and this entire disease has pretty much put me on reset mode. After that 30-day hospital stay at Johns Hopkins, we took a bone marrow, and throughout the entire time I was getting spinal taps, which is getting fluid drawn out of your spine and putting chemo in. And yeah, after my last bone marrow, I had about 8.8% of the leukemia left in my body. And they allowed me to come back to Indiana. Indiana is where my parents live and my family lives right now. And I came home. And when I got home, it was the most like amazing feeling ever. When I got to the airport, I had some family and friends stop by and see me as I got off the plane and things like that. And I just remember getting back and seeing my friend Zach standing there. I just remember getting out of my wheelchair and hugging him and crying because I finally made it home, you know? Like, I finally made it home. But I knew my battle wasn't done yet. I knew I wasn't done there. My projected treatment is 3 years. And even though that can be short, it also feels long. But I got back to Riley, went to Riley's Children's Hospital, continued my chemos, continued the bone marrow, not the bone marrow transplants, but I continued bone marrow aspirations, I continued spinal taps. I pretty much went through 2 months of a stage called consolidation, where they're just jamming your body with like literal chemicals. It's like voluntarily poisoning yourself repeatedly every single week. And you're just supposed to take it because that's what you do. That's the only way you can fight right now. And you know, I'm so thankful because I did not have a lot of the, you know, side effects that were from these drugs. But I mean, goodness gracious. After that 2-month phase, they found out that my leukemia in my blood has dropped down to 0.8%. And what that means is I'm still not in remission, and I still haven't beaten it yet. So what that means moving forward, and this nobody really knows yet, but I'll be telling you all now, it means I'll be headed back out to Baltimore to do a procedure called CAR-T. And what CAR-T is pretty much they're going to withdraw the T cells out of my body. They're going to genetically manufacture them to attack the chemo, or to attack the leukemia. And then they're going to, they're going to attack the leukemia. From there, they're going to reinfuse the cells at Johns Hopkins, and yeah, we're hopefully going to beat leukemia. It's really cool because it's a possibility not having any treatment afterwards, and yeah, it could be a really good thing. So that's where I'm gonna leave it right now. That's just like a brief overview of what happened this summer, where I've been, what's going on, and things like that. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon.